The only three memories that I have from that house are watching this show on our white television in the living room, dropping a Tonka truck on my toes in the kitchen, and watching my cousin cry like a baby when they cut down a tree in the backyard. So this is really special for me right here.
This is Podcast New York.
What's up, Dueling Decades? This is Wax. Peace to all you guys, and thanks for having me on the show. Will it be the 90s or the 80s? Beanie Babies or Crack Babies? Will it be Nirvana or Madonna? Maybe Britney, maybe Whitney. Do you like new metal or new wave? Dave Grohl or Super Dave? I don't know. But now the battle begins. Dueling Decades. Let's see who wins.
Dueling Decades. Broadcasting live from the Podcast New York studios, it's another all-new Dueling Decades, the adult-only retro game show where the decades battle for supremacy. Because it's your history, we just fight for it. I am Marc James, and this week we have for another week experience battle, where all of our competitors' picks must fall within one calendar week. I will be representing May 24th through the 30th of 1998. Now, let's meet the other duelers and the decades they will be fighting for. First off, going back to the 80s, he's a man who will never go whack on an old school track. Say hello to Mancrush.
What's up, everybody? That's right. I have May 22nd through the 28th of 1988. And thank you to everybody who hung in there. We apologize for any blips. This is only our fourth live. We don't know what we're doing.
Also joining us on the panel and taking a magic carpet ride to the 70s, it's the incomparable Mike Ranger.
Hello, everyone, and be prepared to slap on your leisure suit as I cover May 21st through 27th of 1978.
And as always here on the show, we need somebody to adjudicate all of this awesomeness. So this week's guest judge is an author who also happens to be the founding member, frontman, and guitarist from the band Than Jake. And now you can check out his new solo single, Never Surrender. All rise for Judge Chris DeMakes.
Hello.
What's up?
That was an amazing intro. You really talked me up.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest will be held under Dueling Decades rules. The judges' coin flip shall decide who picks first out of the 5 Dueling Decades categories: movies, television, music, news, and hot products. A judge's ruling will determine who wins each round, allowing the victor to choose the next available category. The first 3 rounds are worth 1 point each, with rounds 4 and 5 worth 2 points apiece. And in the event that we go to a tie after all 5 rounds, we will go to a final wild card round. Remember, duelers, to review the show, listen, subscribe, and play along at home. It's time for more Dueling Decades. All right, let's throw it right down to our guest judge for this episode, Chris DeMakes, for the coin toss, which will be between Mike Ranger and Mancrush this week.
All right. So who's calling heads? Who's calling tails? How are we doing this? Just going to flip?
Mike Ranger, why don't you call it this week?
I think I'm going to go heads.
Going to go heads. Here we go. It is heads.
Ooh, and
All
Chris,
right,
what did you flip there?
I flipped a Than Jake weed grinder.
Yeah.
I didn't have a coin in my pocket, but this was in my studio. So.
Now he's got Keef all over his desk. It's great. All right, Mike Ranger, you won the coin toss. You take control of the board, and you get to select our first category.
Well, once again, I never expect to win, and I'm never prepared for it. But I think we're going to go with TV. All right, gentlemen, what I have here is something so 70s, more 70s than ABBA, Leif Garrett, and Charo combined. I found an article in the Daily News from May 26, 1978, titled Osmond's Dish Up Pizzazz. The original Osmond brothers, a foursome who preceded Donnie and Marie, returned to television that night in the Osmond Brothers special, featuring guests like Bob Hope, the Dallas Cowgirls, and comedian Jimmy Walker. The Osmond Brothers special has lots of pizzazz. The flavor is youth, well scrubbed, clean living, but still enjoying life to the fullest. Tune in tonight at 8 p.m. on the ABC to see Alan, Wayne, Merrill, and Jay in the Osmond Brothers special. Now that's a night of TV.
Lots of smoking.
Lots of, yeah.
Lots of cigarettes.
Yeah. You know, a lot of red meat, a lot of cigarettes.
Yeah.
Before
All right, Mancrush, what did you bring for the television round?
All right, so let's go to May 22nd of 1988. And this one, it's pretty cool for me because it's not often, but occasionally you get a TV selection that you actually remember watching. And I grew up a huge fan of this as a little kid. And out of all the memories that I still remember when I lived in our house in the Bronx, I moved when I was like 4. I still remember watching this show in our living room. It's insane. The only 3 memories that I have from that house are watching this show on our white television in the living room, dropping a Tonka truck on my toes in the kitchen, and watching my cousin cry like a baby when they cut down a tree in the backyard. So this is really special for me right here. The original series that I'm talking about, it actually ended in 1982. So this is the first time it had been back on the boob tube in 6 years. Everyone was excited to see this thing. Originally, this show was broadcast on CBS, but this time around, NBC got the honor of airing this bad boy. This NBC Sunday night movie pulled in mega ratings. It was a 20.2, and it had 17.9 million homes tuning in to watch this. So absolutely smashing everything on television in 1988. Not only was everybody excited to see Bill Bixby and Lou Ferrigno back in their original roles as David Banner and the Hulk, but everyone was fired up to see the debut of Thor, sharing the screen with the Hulk for the first time ever. You know, and like, this doesn't seem like a big deal in 2021 where Marvel is just putting out massive juggernauts one after the other. But in 1988, these were like lean Marvel years. The studio rights, they were owned by New World Pictures. So obviously it's a bit goofy to watch now, but in 1988, this was the shit to watch this on television. This Thor debut was actually supposed to catapult him into his own TV series. Unfortunately, that never came to fruition. And as fun as The Incredible Hulk Returns was, I watched it the other night. It's a fucking downer, man. Like Banner, he's just ready to start a new life and get married, cure himself from turning into the Hulk. And then there's like all these series of events and there's bad guys and all this shit. And he has to destroy this gamma spoiler. He has to destroy this gamma transponder that he made to cure himself. And then he has to leave his fiance at the end. So it's like such a downer for being one of like the cooler characters in the whole Marvel universe. Hulk really has like this depressing existence. And if you go back and watch the old stuff, it's not like the new stuff. It is really a downer. But this is the premiere of The Incredible Hulk Returns, May 22nd, 1988.
All right, guys. So my television selection is the final episode of a series that was a spin-off of Home Improvement. Now, despite ranking 29th in the rankings, its second and final season, it unfortunately came to an end on May 26, 1998, after 2 seasons and only 25 episodes. I give you the end of Soul Man. No, not the C. Thomas Howell joint. Soul Man. It was a gentle comedy about a lifelong, hard-working, leather jacket wearing, motorcycle riding, widowed Episcopal minister played by Dan Aykroyd. He was raising 4 kids out in Detroit, Michigan, and hilarity ensues when this bad boy minister now has to be a role model to 4 out-of-control children while dealing with the crazy antics of his equally out-of-control parish members. The theme song for Soul Man was, of course, Soul Man, written by Isaac Hayes and David Porter. It won some awards and has a long legacy with Dan Aykroyd because famously he sang Soul Man with his band, the Blues Brothers. So how does this all tie into Home Improvement? Dan Aykroyd was actually on an episode of Home Improvement when Al was hired to put in a new stand for the Holy Water Basin. It was in a season 7 episode entitled Losing My Religion. That doesn't go so well when Tim gets involved and the basin falls through the floor. So, but in the final episode of Soul Man, Mike's romantic date with Christine is interrupted when an all-female care and share group drops by to confront him about his betrayal. So, of course, we are ending on some sort of conflict resolution, the way all good Christian shows should. You know, it's the final episode of Soul Man with Dan Aykroyd. I'm pretty sure you've never seen it, because apparently not many people have.
How many episodes does that last?
25.
Man, I never even heard of that.
Not many people have. So let's throw it down to our guest judge for this episode, Chris DeMakes, for his ruling on the television round.
All right. So, for me, this is a toss-up between the 70s and the 80s, which I lived through both of those. I'm gonna have to go with the 80s here.
Were you a big Hulk fan?
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. I did watch the original Donnie Marie and the Osmonds show back in the day. Yes, I'm old enough to remember that airing. But I was a big Hulk fan. I can't think of anybody else, maybe barring an MMA fighter and a boxer, they got their ass kicked every week. Bill Bixby just got his ass handed to him every week, And I remember that Thor episode. It was terrible. Like you said, he was supposed to have his own spin-off, and next thing you know, he was cleaning the toilets at NBC. This never happened. So I got to go.
That dude had a long career. Like, I looked it up after this. He was, my daughter is 15 now, and she watched this show called Good Luck Charlie that was on, I think it was on Nickelodeon, and he was the dad for like 4 seasons. So this dude had like a long resume, and I was like, he had no hair as he got older, so you couldn't even identify if that was him or not. But yeah, it's fun.
I never heard of the TV show Soul Man. In all fairness, though, prior to social media and cell phones and gadgets, I was trapped in a van during 1998 with my band. So there's a good reason why I missed those 25 episodes. So I'm going with the 80s.
And that's why you didn't say that you lived through the 90s?
Well, I did. Physically, I was present.